Jonathan and Primero into the wall, then just about avoids it. Is history going to repeat itself? Yes, it is. Off the track, into the wall they go. They go down like Skittles. Formula Danny is the winner of the first ever Squad Sprint Series. He is the champion.
Hello and welcome to the final race of Squad Sprint Season 2 2020. We are heading to the German Grand Prix for the final race of this season. I am your commentator for today, Hayden Gullis, and joined with me in the commentary box is Callum Knighton. Hello, Callum.
Hello, it's an emotional day. Yes, the final round of Squad Sprint. It's been a very, very long 3 months. Incredible battles throughout the whole field. The top 3 in the championship has been decided, but it's still all to play for.
It really is all to play for. You have battles going all the way through the order, with the likes of the battle for the best content creator between Tom97 and Tia Met Marduk. That is going to be decided here today in this 25% length race. Damage is on, track limits are on regular. Hopefully we won't see as much corner cutting as last time, but we've got an all-star front row lockout with Jean-Eric Vergne joining the grid, Thibaut Courtois alongside him in second. Then it's FNG in third with his roommate Arava in P4. On the third row of the grid we have Ayrton in fifth and Ryan Littlemon with a great result in Hungary starting sixth.
It's yourself, Hayden, lining up in P7 alongside championship rival Vergne. On the fifth row is Alex Gillen and Tom Storm Lartelo in P10. And in P11, James Doherty lines up against his fellow eSport rival, Jen Bullock-Bassey.
In P13 you have Tom97, lining up alongside him is his content creator rival team at Marduk. Simon is in 15th with James Baldwin in 16th. Then on the back row you have Hyper 17th and Daniel Berezne, the championship winner in P18. Here we are then, the Hockenheim circuit for the final round of the Squad Sprint 2020 season. It has been an incredible season with battles all the way through the field, and I'm sure today will not disappoint us, Callum.
Definitely not. It's not as wet as what the real-life 2019 Grand Prix was like, but we've got the boss of Veloce on the front row. He's joined us for the final race, almost like an exhibition race for him. He'll be landing up on the front row of the grid.
This is the final week. 3 months straight of this. 12 weeks. It's mental, isn't it, when you think about it?
James Baldwin there, reminiscing on what has been an incredible season of Squad Sprint so far as the lights are coming on. We get a 5 red lights and we are underway for the final race of the 2020 season. It's a great start there from Thibaut Courtois. Everybody seeming to get in the better of Jean-Eric Vergne as he goes wide and into the back of FNG as now Ayrton looks up the inside of Arava and FNG. Can he get the job done up the inside? He gets it done on Arava. FNG wide through turn 2 as they all seem to get through the corner. No incidents at all actually through the field, which is very surprising for Squad Sprint as Arava now drops down into P5. He's trying to get the better of his roommate now around the outside into the hairpin. Ryan Littlemon having a look up the inside as well. Arava very late on the brakes. Can he hold it around the outside? Yes, he can. Fantastic overtake from Arava, and that moves them up into P3 with Ayrton in second. Here we are watching on board Alex Gillen as they follow Hayden Gullis, myself and Vergne down in towards the Mercedes section, and there goes Vergne very late on the brakes and wiping out what I think was 3 cars there, Callum.
Yeah, Storm getting involved as well. Very, very reckless start to the race. We've got a virtual safety car, and look at all these cars all packed together. Thibaut Courtois, a dream start for him. A great start off the line, leading the Grand Prix at the moment. Jev is down to P4 as we're currently riding on board with Arav as we go through the curve, and that's Jev off. Jev into the gravel. Unsure what happened there. I don't know whether Jev took the eye off the ball there. Yeah, he's trying to try and copy what Sebastian Vettel did in the real-life Grand Prix, but a lot of the drivers all coming into the pit lane as the virtual safety car finishes just now, so I'm not entirely sure a lot of these drivers will gain that much of an advantage coming into the pit lane, but the likes of James Baldwin, Alex Gillen, we've got a Renault win, that will be Simon, we've also got FNG in, wow, this is probably the most busy pit lane I think we've ever seen in Squad Sprint history. A lot of the drivers moving on to their, I think, a lot of them going on to the medium tyres, but we've still got 7 drivers who have not pitted. Thibaut Courtois, Jen Bullock-Bassey, Hayden Gullis, Tom, Tia Met Marduk, Danny and Hypers all out in front. We've got a battle between Ben and Danny.
We sure have, as Tia Met Marduk not really defending too much against Daniel Berezne. Of course, he is the champion, so you don't really want to lose too much time, especially as other drivers have just pitted. But this track is slightly different compared to the other ones that we have seen. Tyre wear is a lot stronger around this circuit, so you can't really take the mediums all the way to the end like we have seen in previous circuits. Turner actually on the hard, so maybe he's got the better strategy compared to the other guys going on the mediums as Veloce Hypers gets the job done. A little bit of argy-barginess between himself and teammate Marduk. There's myself staying out as well. I'm on the medium tyres at the moment, being overtaken by Tom97 as Jem Bullock-Bassi currently in second. And Thibaut Courtois still leading the way, also staying out early on in this race. He completes 2 laps in the lead as Daniel Vergne makes an easy overtake on myself. Veloce Hypers now into the pits. That's going to drop him down the order as we've got a yellow flag out, and I think it's another virtual safety car as the Delta is dropping down. So I think Hypers has actually got the best strategy out of everyone as he's pitted under that virtual safety car, Callum.
Yeah, he's absolutely nailed it, and we've lost Jean-Eric Vergne already. His squad sprint career comes to an end very, very shortly. We're only going on to the 3rd lap of this Grand Prix, but let's have a look at the replay and find out what happened at this crazy start. We're going to ride on board with Raggy going into turn 1, and he was already in the wars from the first corner as he taps the back of Ryan Littlemore as we saw a lot of the cars running wide. We've got cars going everywhere. We've got Storm diving up the inside in that Haas, and then Raggy losing a rear end. And look at how many cars he's been absolutely swamped. Back down into 15th position after starting in P8. Right on board still with Raggy, and this is going to see from his position what happened. We already had a bit of a kerfuffle between Jev and Limitless in front, and Raggy absolutely out of control. Yet more front wing damage for the Mercedes driver. And was it also Raggy that got involved with Jean-Eric Vergne? Goes up the inside of Jev into the hairpin, and it looks like he's going to let him back through after a slight lag incident there. And it's a drag race going into this right kink before the Mercedes grandstand, and he just squeezes him out, the Williams driver of Jean-Eric Vergne. Not really Raggy's fault, and a little bit of lag between the two drivers, and that was really unfortunate for Raggy there. And
oh no! I've just killed Jean-Eric Vergne. He literally pushed me so wide, and then I couldn't go anywhere. I get fired.
Raggy's job is on the line now. It's quite unusual driving there from Raggy. Usually he's one of the cleanest in the field, but getting caught up in a few incidents. Maybe, you know, the final race, that battle with myself getting to him, and maybe a bit erratic with the driving today. But now we're back on board with myself, the virtual safety car ending. I realised actually a couple of weeks ago that you can actually floor it once the safety car is ending, and Daniel Vergne did not realise that, so was getting sort of held up a little bit by him, and it sort of allowed Tom97 and Jem Bullock-Bassi to get away from us, as now teammate Marduk will be hunting me down in this race. We go on to start lap 4 of this 17-lap race. Veloce Hypers into the pits, but still behind teammate Marduk, not too far down the road either, as we're now on board with Tom97. He's going to be looking to try and get the overtake on Jem Bullock-Bassi, who started on those medium tyres, and it looks like they're really still struggling to grip up in this race. Look at that slide there from Jem Bullock-Bassi as Tom97 now right on the tail of the Red Bull drive. He's going to get the inside line now into the hairpin. He might actually get the job done before he even gets there. Now teammate Marduk goes for the overtake on myself up the inside, and as you can see, I'm down into 0 ERS mode, just letting teammate Marduk have that. But very late on the brakes from Ben, and that sort of holds us both up on the exit of the corner, and that's just allowing Veloce Hypers to reel us in very, very quickly, as we're now back on this battle between Jem Bullock-Bassi, Tom97, and Daniel Vergne. As Daniel Vergne looks to get the job done up the inside, now around the outside into this next corner on Jem Bullock-Bassi. He's got the grip of those softer tyres. Will he hold it around the outside into the stadium section? Yes, he has. Wow, that's an incredible move around the outside of there, Callum.
Brilliant move from Daniel Vergne. There's a slight tyre difference. Both Tom and Danny Vergne both being on the soft tyres, whilst Jem Bullock-Bassi's on the mediums. We've got another battle. We've got Simon and the Toro Rosso of Ryan Littlemore, whilst we ride on board with Alex Gillen. Yet more battling going into the stadium section. Ryan Littlemore holding on to P10 at the moment, with Simon down in 11th. It doesn't look like Simon's had the best start, with the likes of Hypers, James and Danny and Jem Bullock-Bassi, his esports counterparts, up further up the field. Right on board now with one of those esport drivers of James Baldwin. He is keeping Joe Eterno, giving him a little bit of company going through turn 1. Slight power slide as he rides the curbs and just stays behind, staying on 0 ERS deployment. as he now sets up a move on the Racing Point driver who's going to flick the DRS open, and I believe this will be a very, very simple manoeuvre. These drivers already made a pit stop. Veloce Hypers, as we said, leading the guys that have already made a pit stop. Now James technically moves up into net race second position, but we'll see how that filters out once the guys in the top 6 have made their pit stops. But James can now get his head down and he can just see Veloce Hypers up the road. So I don't think this race is over at the moment. I think it's going to be a very juicy battle as we see when Danny Vergne comes into the pit lane.
Well, yeah, that's certainly correct. I mean, this is probably the first race that we've seen since Brazil where strategy has really come into play. So it looks like those drivers coming into the pits now. Tom 97 still leading the way of those soft tyre drivers yet to come into the pits as they come into the pits now, all getting slowed down before the pit speed limiter line. And it looks like none of them are going to get any penalties. Tom 97, will he get the jump on, or will he stay ahead of Daniel Vergne? Yes, he does. Daniel Vergne looking to get held in the pits there for quite a little bit longer. Veloce Hypers has jumped the lot of them. So really gaining from pitting under the virtual safety car. And looks like Eterno's even got ahead of Daniel Vergne. Eterno is having a fantastic race. Probably one of the races of his life at the moment as he's battling with Daniel Vergne, but it looks like it's going to be mincemeat there for Danny B as he goes around the outside on this long curve straight down in towards the hairpin. Now, can Eterno do anything under braking? He kind of holds his nose in there, but he has to hold around the outside, and unfortunately for him, loses that position to Daniel Vergne. But I'm sure he's not going to worry too much about that. We're now back on board with this battle between Alex Gillen and Ryan Littlemon. Now battling actually for no points. They are batting for just outside the points, but you never know what could happen in Squad Sprint. There's guys up in front of them that can easily come together, and that's how they can sneak into the points, Callum.
Yeah, Alex Gillen, once again, we've seen it in especially the previous race, getting very wild with the track limits as we've now got more drivers in the pit lane. We've got Thibaut Courtois, who was leading the race at that moment. Hayden Gullis goes on to take the race lead. Don't get a nosebleed, Hayden, as Tim Marduk goes onto the medium tyres. So a lot of the drivers onto the medium tyres. We've got the likes of Tom 97, Danny B. Where is Tim Marduk going to come out in all this? And where is Thibaut Courtois? He's going to come out alongside the Chelsea fan of Tom 97. He sweeps around the outside. We've also got Danny B around the outside as well, but Thibaut will now come out in P7 and will be able to tuck right in the slipstream on those fresher medium tyres at the moment. Lovely helicopter cam here at Hockenheim as they go down towards the hairpin. I don't think any moves being sized up at the moment, but Danny B, look at him. He is all over the back of the Mercedes driver. He's ducking left, he's ducking right, but can't find a way through at the moment. And let's hope that Tom can maybe put up some sort of battle, because it's been... Danny's had it easy. That's what a lot of the eSport drivers have said. The way he's managed to come through the field, he's been so calm and collected and calculated in the way that he gets through, but no one's really given him much of a fight apart from the eSport drivers. So for the final race, can we finally see one of the content creators give Danny B a run for his money?
Well, it looks like it here today as Tom 97 getting very racy with the two-time champions. We're on board with Tim Marduk. He's put on a fresh set of medium tyres, and now he's going to be hunting down CRG Simon, of course, Simon Vergne, who pitted very early on lap 1, and as well Eterno, who's on those hard tyres. Now, Eterno is going to be struggling in this early phase, or this middle phase of the race, but by the time they come to the end of it, you know, those medium tyres start to wear out. I'm sure he will come back into the fight as Daniel Vergne still behind Tom 97. He's trying just to bide his time. He is struggling. He is struggling. It's fair to say he is struggling to get past Tom 97 at the moment. So he is doing a cracking job of holding the two-time champion behind him as Danny B has got that DRS. He's got that slipstream. He has a little look around the outside. Tom 97 late on the brakes. Hold Danny B around the outside. Can he hold him off? Yes, he can. And Tom 97 still holding on to P5. All this battling is doing is stopping Daniel Vergne from going on the attack of James Baldwin up ahead of him as Daniel Vergne dives out the inside in towards Mercedes grandstand. But Tom still holding position. He's still holding P5, but now Daniel Vergne up the inside in towards the corner that starts off the stadium section. But no, Tom holds it around the outside into the stadium section. This is awesome driving.
Keeping Danny behind. I'm giving the viewers something to enjoy. Let's fucking go. Losing a chunk of time, but I don't really care.
Tom 97 absolutely loving it at the moment. He has had a great end to the season, really improving week on week, and now look at him battling with the champion of Squad Sprint.
Yeah, and he's been recently flexing his eSport muscles. He's been taking part in AOR on the PCs in the F2 League. So he has got a decent amount of pace up his sleeve, but Danny B once again will be trying to get past the Mercedes driver. Tom once again staying on the right-hand side. He's going to force Danny to the outside, but look at this. Danny's so much closer, and he's already defending the position. Danny very much getting his elbows out there, and I'm pretty sure that he relished on that opportunity to have a battle with Tom. Danny is such a great racer, and he's always up for a fight on track. And we've got still the battle between Ryan Littlemon and Alex Gillen. They're fighting over 11th position. That's the beauty of Squad Sprint. You could be having an incredible race and only be fighting over 11th place, no points paying position at the moment, as Ryan Littlemore goes defensive into the Mercedes grandstand. No way through at the moment. Both drivers on a medium tyres, and both drivers stopped on the exact same lap as well, as they both once again get very inventive with the track limits going into the stadium section. It's very much single file through here as we cut on board with Tiamat Marduk, who's still stuck behind. He was a championship rival with Simon Weigang earlier on in the season, but Simon started to pull out the results, and I think he's a little bit too far ahead at the moment if he wants to try and overtake him in the championship. Got the DRS going into turn 1, and I can't quite work out who that is in 7th position. That's Thibaut Courtois actually. So Simon will be hoping to get past his teammate as quickly as possible and not let Tiamat Marduk through. This is going to have to be like synchronized swimming in order to set this maneuver up. As they both flick open the DRS, Simon Weigang looks very close to Thibaut Courtois. He's going to pretty much breeze past him. Thibaut does go defensive into the corner, but it looks like Thibaut is going to give up that position quite easily, and that's exactly what the Renault drivers wanted to do. Switch the positions, but not let that pesky Australian through.
Exactly. I mean, Simon needed to get that job done very early on, as his tyres are 8 laps old, whereas Tiamat Marduk has got some fresh set of mediums, so he will be hunting him down by the end of the race. Now Thibaut Courtois, what he needs to do for the Renault team is hold up Benjamin Daly. He needs to hold him up as much as he possibly can to allow Simon to get enough of a gap to the tyre where it does not hurt him by the end of this race. Look at Eterno though, holding that P10 position, holding that point still, with faster drivers behind him like Ryan Littlemore. You've also got the likes of Tiro Limitless down in 13th, Storm down in 14th, who has had incredible races so far this season. So we're still watching Thibaut Courtois hold on to that position ahead of Tiamat Marduk, but he might come under a lot of pressure as they go through this next section of the circuit, because you get the DRS, you get the slipstream, but Tiamat Marduk keeping it in lean, keeping it in none on the ERS mode, just saving, biding his time, and now he will pounce. He'll put it up into rich mix, he'll put it up into high, maybe even overtake. No DRS for Thibaut, and it looks like Ben's going to get an easy overtake on the left-hand side on Thibaut Courtois as they run down into the hairpin. On the brakes is Benjamin Daly, and it's a little bit late on the brakes, but he holds it ahead of Thibaut Courtois, and that moves him up another position as we're now watching Veloce Hypers hunt me down.
Yeah, he's now caught up to the back of yourself. Very, very good position at the moment, staying on those soft tyres and trying to keep them as long as possible. But that was quite an easy manoeuvre for the young Polish driver who moves himself up into P2. And I believe the race leader of Jem Bulutbasi is now into the pit lane. So this will be interesting to see where Jem filters out compared to the rest of the field. It's still quite compact actually. Most of the drivers are all in the third sector. You can look in the bottom left-hand corner. A lot of the drivers are all quite close together. So this race is not over at the moment. We're over halfway through. Here is Jem Bulutbasi, and he's going to be rubbing his hands together. He's the only driver on the soft tyres now. He has got 5 to 6 laps to really put these soft tyres to good use. He rejoins in 9th position, just behind that battle that we recently saw of CRG Simon. Actually, I think CRG Simon, and we've got Ryan who's gone round. He's lost the rear end. Quite a spectacular incident there. He's got damage to both his front and rear wing. That was very spectacular from Ryan after such a great result last time out in Hungary. And he's down to 15th position behind Arav, who's also had problems in this race. But I believe CRG Simon must have had some sort of problem because he was in P6 and he's down to P8. So we must have missed that somewhere in that. And also further down the field, we've got Storm and Limitless going at it. But action all the way through the field at the moment, Hayden.
Yes, I think for Ryan Littlemore, his DRS wing was actually stuck open as he went through turn 1, losing him the rear downforce, and that is why his car went for a spin. So very unfortunate there for Ryan Littlemore, as I am defending against James Baldwin for P2 at the moment. I believe I am going to be coming into the pits this lap as James sneaks it up the inside. That is exactly what I didn't want there, as James Baldwin getting in the way as I was coming into the pits, but nevertheless into the pits I go, and that's going to allow those top runners now to have free air and allow them to battle amongst themselves. But whereabouts will myself come out of the pits. It's going to be quite low down because German Bassi came out just behind the likes of Thibaut Courtois and CRG Simon. So I'm going to come out behind this pack, probably down in maybe P13, but I am on the softer tyres. These guys, just like myself and German Bassi, we're on the softer tyres now, which means that we can pump in the laps and try and catch up to the others. As watching Daniel Vergne go up the inside of James Baldwin up into the hairpin. Looks like it's going to be a fairly easy manoeuvre for Danny B as he parks it on the apex. Great manoeuvre there from Daniel Vergne, and he holds on to the position. James Baldwin, though, into third. Probably going to be quite happy with that, but he will be looking to maybe just follow the back of Daniel Vergne as they hunt down Veloce Hypers and maybe look to get into the lead position. All these three drivers, of course, they were battling for the championship earlier on in the season. That has now been decided, but this one is for prize. We're watching Team at Marduk this time now defending from CRG Simon. So I said that Team at Marduk should be quicker on those fresher medium tyres, but that doesn't look like the case, as it looks like Simon is now right on his tail. Tom 97 has really stormed away from these guys, really having a nice battle with the guys up front, and it looks like Simon is just holding his time behind. You've also got Jembel Bassi getting involved in this battle as well, and there we go, setting the fastest lap of the race on those new soft tyres. It looks like it's going to be a fairly easy overtake on Simon, and then that's going to put him right on the tail of TM Marduk because they run all the way down now in towards their hairpin. So how easy is this overtake going to be for Jembel Bassi, and can even Simon get past the Australian as they run down in towards the hairpin? They're going to go 3 wide down in towards the hairpin. Benjamin Daly stuck in the middle, but he's going to do the switchback maneuver on both of them, maybe. The better traction out of the corner from Jembel Bassi on those fresher soft tyres gets him up into P5, but Team Marduk, great defending, getting the switchback maneuver, but he's not done yet. He dives it up the inside of Jembel Bassi, putting on a show for the fans in the Mercedes grandstand. Now can he hold position against Simon as they come into the stadium section? Now Simon will have to go around the outside. He decides against that, and Team Marduk holds on to P6 for the time being.
2 for the price of 1 there for Jembel Bassi. His last lap time was 1.5 seconds quicker than Tiamat Marduk, so that just goes to show how quick those soft tyres were. As we've got Danny B, who is rubbing his hands together. He is closing up on Veloce Hypers. He's got 3 lap newer medium tyres at the moment, and it's quite poetic actually that we're finishing the series with a battle between the 3 drivers who have basically put on the best show throughout the whole series. They have put on a cracking show to really push each other, and I remember there was a race back in Silverstone when we pretty much had the 3 cars going across the line all at the same time. I think under a tenth of a second. It was quite a while ago now, but it was an incredible battle, and they've now finishing the series with this battle, so we'll be very interested to see who comes out in that battle, as we've got Alex Gillen, who is putting a move on TRR Limitless, or it might be the other way around. I think it's Limitless trying to go around the outside of Alex Gillen. Limitless trying to make up for that poor start to the Grand Prix. I think getting caught up in a few issues. Eterno still holding on to P11. I think Alex Gillen's also made a move on him. So these final points playing positions aren't over yet. It's still incredibly close. As you can see behind, Veloce Storm holding P12, and Hayden, who's come out on a fresh set of soft tyres as well, holding P13. So this final points playing position, it may only be for 1 or 2 points, but it's far from over. As we go into this banked left-hander on lap number 15, we'll have 2 laps remaining, as the leaders are currently going into P2 so much further ahead. It goes to show how quick they are on this game, and it's a slight bit of contact actually between Hayden and Storm, as Storm comes into the pit lane quite oddly. Unsure why he's coming into the pit lane this late in the Grand Prix, as we now ride on board with Storm's teammate of Veloce, James. He's all over the back of Danny B, as we now go into the braking zone, and very, very close there between Danny and the Hypers. Danny slightly missing his braking point there. Very rare to see Danny make a mistake. I think that's his probably one and only mistake that he's been able to make in this entire series, but it's still line astern. Hypers in first, Danny in second, and James Baldwin in third.
Danny and the Hypers, we're going to have to get that turned into a TV show, as Daniel Vergne still hunting down Hypers at the moment as they come into the stadium section. We've got 1 lap and a bit left to go in this race. They're very evenly split between the 3 of them, so it's probably all going to go down to the last lap of this race. James Baldwin still staying with these 2. He's got the oldest set of tyres on at the moment. Danny B has the freshest set of tyres, but he's still struggling to get past Hypers. So Hypers doing a cracking job at the moment to hold off the champion so far in this race. Of course, it could have been a championship decider had Hypers not made that mistake in Azerbaijan, crashing into the castle section. What could have been at the end of the day, but now here we go. This is going to be the best overtaking opportunity for Daniel Berezne as he gets that DRS wing slapped open. He's going to move maybe to the outside. Hyper's defending that inside line, moving across, really trying to defend against Daniel Berezne. Can he have a look up the inside? He tries it, forces Danny out wide. Oh, James tried to go for the cutback, and it looks like both of them have got past Hypers. Little bit of contact there between James Baldwin and Hypers. Hypers now probably going to dive it maybe up the inside into the Mercedes-Benz grandstand section. Baldwin still holding it at the moment. Hypers still cannot find a way through. Very disappointing there for Veloce Hypers. He really tried to defend against Danny B for the lead of this race. Unfortunately for him, it's cost him not only the lead, but also second place. He may just have to settle for third on the podium as here he comes through the final couple of corners. It wouldn't have been anybody else at the end of the day. Of course, it is going to be our two-time squad sprint champion, Danny Berezne, wins the German Grand Prix. Incredible stuff. Look at that. Tom97 coming home in P4 once again. Cracking job for the content creator. And somehow I've worked my way up into P10. We've got an illegal overtakes. Tyrrell Limitless has had a little bit of a spin there. That's actually lost in position to not only myself and Joe Aeterno, which means it's not going to be Racing Pointless. It's going to be Racing Point here today as the penalty was in fact removed. Daniel Berezne though takes home the glory and the 26 points with the fastest lap somehow as well, with Hypers getting P2, James Baldwin finishing the race in 3, Tom Martinez in P4. Great result from him, with Simon Weigang in 5th and Jem Bullock-Bassey in 6th. We have Benjamin Daly, teammate Marduk finishing in 7th. Thibaut Courtois once again getting into the points, really improving as he joined in SquadSprint. Myself in P9 claiming 2 points here today, and Joe Aeterno getting home in P10. Then we look further down the field. Unfortunately, it is Tyrrell Limitless who is just outside the points of Alex Gillen as well, and even Tom Storm Lardlow. Ryan Littlemon with a cracking race in Hungary could not close in on myself and Raggy in the championship. No points for him today, and also for Ragmeister as he's down in P15. Nirin Yusufu FNG down in 16th, a quiet race for him and also his roommate Arava Amin. And then we have John-Eric Vergne, unfortunately, DNFing in his first race in Squad Sprint, and Isaac Gillison and Camille also not starting in today's race. Looking then at the Drivers' Championship, and this is how it ends at the end of the season. Daniel Berezne is our Season 2 2020 champion. 238 points, a huge margin over Veloce Hypers, who finished the season in 2nd. We have James Baldwin rounding out the top 3. It was Benjamin Daly who won the best of the content creators, finishing in P5, beating the likes of Jem Bullock-Bassey and Tyrrell Limitless as well in the season. As we look further down the field, and unfortunately these are the guys who just missed out in the top 10 but did provide some great racing. Raggy gets the best of the rest, just outside the top 10 there, and there are the rest of your finishers in the Drivers' Championship.
In the Constructors' Championship, it was already decided last time out. Alfa Romeo managed to clinch P1 with 292 points, and the majority of those coming from Danny B. It's a very similar case at Haas as well. It was the majority scored by James Baldwin, and in Toro Rosso it was very much the same. So it was quite even at the front in the Constructors' Championship. A little bit further down, it started to even out and get a bit tastier, with Renault managing to finish in P4 with some early points scored by Jana Watmir, taken over by Thibaut Courtois. Red Bull, the two drivers of Alex Gillen and Jem Bullock-Bassey working to get 112 points. Ferrari in P6, very one-sided there, and managing to equal points with Mercedes in the end. Mercedes managed to bring it back, but Ferrari had some slightly better results with Tim Marduk, so they clinch P6. Racing Pointless, or Racing Point, they got 29 points in the end after some final points in that last race. Williams down in P9 with 16, and it's the FIFA boys rounding out the top 10 with just 5 points to McLaren.
What an incredible way to round out the season then. Callum, I've got to ask you, who has been your driver of the day?
I've got to give it to Tom97. He's been getting quite a lot via Andy and Justin have been giving him the Driver of the Day award recently, and I've got to give it him today. That battle that he put on with Danny B, we've never really seen that with a content creator before, and even James Baldwin, he didn't put up that much of a fight with Danny B today. So the fact that Tom managed to pull up his socks and also come home in P4 as well, cracking stuff from him.
I'm going to have to agree with you. It was great racing between Tom97 and Daniel Vergne and with other drivers. So it's a cracking result from Tom97. Unfortunately, that does wrap up the 2020 season of Squad Sprint. We will see you when Squad Sprint returns in 2021 for Season 3. But until then, it's goodbye from us.